Hello, everyone, and welcome to Molehill Mountain episode 339. Andrew here. So, tonight we shall start out talking about the title of this podcast, Fruit Sour Fiasco. Fruit sours are a ball of flavored sugar. It's candy. I like them very much. So, on occasion, I will treat myself to some fruit sours. Now, once upon a time, at Sprouts, fruit sours used to be sold in individually packaged plastic clamshell things. It was probably 8 ounces, maybe 8 to 10 ounces. You'd buy one, open it up, eat all of them, even though that's probably not what the serving size was. You buy a thing of fruit sours, it's like serving size, 4 pieces. It's like, no, it's all of them. They were discontinued or just not stocked for some time, and they came back within the last year, but now they're in the bulk bins. So you gotta get a scoop. Well, you gotta get a bag, and then a scoop, and dump it in, and then get a little... write the clue on a twisty tie, or if you have them all memorized, and then weigh it and buy it. Well, this week, they've taken them out of the bulk bins and put them in the dump bins. Now, the dump bins are the things that sit up above the bulk bins. These are the little containers with the pull handle on the front that opens the tube to the funnel that dumps whatever it is out, be it your candy or oats or granola or whatever the heck you're trying to buy in bulk. So the idea is you take your bag, you put it under the thing, you pull down on the handle, and when you've had enough, you close the handle, you put the handle back up. I don't care for these because it's really difficult to get the amount you want. You always end up with more than you want, and when you get more candy than you want, that means you eat more candy than you want. I mean, you can do one of those, okay, and it's still just, whom. But that will not stand between me and my fruit sours. I felt like I really wanted some fruit sours, and I'm an adult, by gum, I'm gonna have some fruit sours. So, I got me my plastic bag. This was like 3 days ago. Got me my plastic bag. Stuck it under the dump bin. Pulled down on the handle. And it got stuck. I tried very hard to put the handle back up, but it would not go back up. Which meant the candy continued to flow. It continued to flow until it filled up the entire little plastic bag. And when there was no more room in the plastic bag, it overflowed and went all over the floor. Now you might think, oh, fruit sours, those are balls, right? So that's like, people are gonna, trip on them or slip on them, right? No, that wasn't really a danger. I mean, it looks super dangerous because you've got all these colorful balls littering the entire aisle. But if you step on one, you're just going to squish it. It's not like a marble. So it wasn't really dangerous, but yeah, I felt like pretty bad about that because wasted. It's like, what, 10 pounds of fruit? I don't want that much. I could probably eat that much, but I do not want to. I definitely should not. And this had attracted the attention of the Sprouts employees, and I profusely apologized. And the guy took out the now empty dump bin. It was like, yeah, he couldn't get the handle to unstick either, so it wasn't my fault. The handle genuinely broke and got stuck, and it was stuck in an open position. So, yeah, big 10-pound bag of candy, and the rest of them all over the floor. So I got a different bag, and I, scooped out a scoop of candy into a new bag. Of course, he'd taken the dump bin away, so I had to track him down. I'm like, what is the clue for this? I did end up going home with some candy, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it immensely, because it's yum. But, I mean, I guess it's certainly more sanitary, the dump bins, because the bulk bins, you never know what asshole's just sticking their hands in there, right? Or some weird child sticking their whole head in the bulk bin and getting their snotty face all over everything. But it's certainly easier to curate the amount you want. Um, Although Sprouts, for the chili spiced mango bulk bin, you should provide some like tongs or something because it's almost impossible to actually use a scoop to get those out. So, free advice for doubtless the legions of Sprouts employees who watch this podcast. So, and that's why I named this podcast the Fruit Sour Fiasco. Chicago says, I always hate those dump bins. I've had to use them for nuts. I've also seen them for coffee grounds. It must be a pain. Yeah, most of the bulk I buy are still in bins. So, like, oats and stuff are in the bulk bins. Actually, back in the first 2 years of the pandemic, what they would do is all of the bulk bins were pre-packaged. So instead of just a humongous bin full of oats, it would be a bin full of smaller bags of oats. A lot more work for the employees, but honestly, I appreciated it. Just because that way you can guarantee people aren't sticking their disgusting hands in the food, you know? Cafe Fox, hello. Alright, so, last week I talked about Uncharted 4 and how it's, I quite liked it. I quite liked everything except the combat, which made me unhappy. Still, it's better than 3, which I think is outright bad, and 1, which I didn't think was bad, but I was still kind of surprised it got a sequel, because it just wasn't very good. So, after the podcast, I said, you know what? I should play Uncharted Lost Legacy. So I played Uncharted Lost Legacy. Now I'm going to talk about Uncharted Lost Legacy. It's quite good. I very much enjoyed it. Even though it feels like, and looking at the fact that it came out a year after Uncharted 4, it seems to be running on the exact same engine. The combat didn't... Well, I didn't really enjoy the combat. It didn't make me miserable like the combat in Uncharted 4 did. But I'll get to that. Lost Legacy is the adventures of Chloe from 2 and Nadine from 4. They team up to go find treasure. And it's fun. They're a great pair. They've got great rapport and banter. It's fun wandering around India and, destroying ancient civilizations and plundering their crap. That's a good time. Cafe Fox has been enjoying the Twisted Metal show. Full disclosure, downloaded it. I don't have, I think it's on Paramount Plus, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I don't have that streaming service. I have a few streaming services. I can't have them all. Then, unfortunately, that's one of the ones I don't have. Though, if I had, I think it's Paramount Plus. Correct me if I'm wrong. Had I that, whatever streaming service it's on, I would check it out. Might do a debut review for it, but ngats. Looks like it could be fun, though. Even though I have really no, love for the game series. I mean, I don't dislike Twisted Metal, just not the game series. I thought it was weird that the first thing they showed off from the show was nothing to do with cars. An extended look at Twisted Metal. I'm like, well, that's a bold choice to show a clip of the show that has nothing to do with cars. Not saying it's the wrong choice, but I argue it's bold. But then there was a subsequent trailer which had cars in it, so it's like, okay. Oh, Peacock. Okay, I don't have that one either. Which ones do I have? I have, let's see. I have a lot of them. I have Shudder, which is a horror streaming service. Criterion Channel, which is the Criterion streaming service. Disney Plus. I share doing a family plan with Criterion. Criterion, much love to Criterion. Most of the streaming services have a family plan, allow you to do a even if you don't live in the same home, they will allow you to pay a family price for access. Doesn't matter. My sister and I share a couple of these. Shudder's mine. Disney Plus is mine. I share Criterion with her. And the thing I was talking about is Criterion doesn't actually have one of those plans, so I called them up when I first subscribed when the channel started, and I said, yeah, my sister lives in Missouri, and what we'd like to do is purchase a family plan so that we can both use it. And the rep, and they're like, just give her your password, it's fine. I'm like, if you're happy to pay the family, but they're like, just give her your password, it's fine. I'm like, okay. So good on Criterion. My sister and I share the Amazon Prime. I also occasionally will, if I need something quickly, like for the Extra Life charity event, I'll use my sister's Prime account so that I can make sure that I get it the next day. Because one year I think I missed out on something, or it came uncomfortably close, something like that. So Prime, Hulu, Max, or HBO Max, it's just called Max now, and Netflix. I think that's everything. I think one of those is bundled with something. I think Hulu is part of something else, or I don't remember. But yeah. So I have a couple of my own, and my sister and I go in on a bunch of others. So, Lindy, hello. So yeah, I have a lot. I don't have Peacock. I don't have Paramount Plus. I don't have Apple TV or whatever that one is. Sadly, I don't have like High Dive or Crunchyroll. I don't have any of the anime ones. Which is a shame. But occasionally some anime shows hit up on Prime or Hulu or Netflix, or like the one I'm watching right now, Zom 100, Diary of the Dead. No, Bucket List of the Dead. That's on Netflix, I think. Matthew says, sub to Crunchyroll and High Dive and share Netflix. I need to do at least a week try. I want to get something I noticed is Shudder actually has a deal where I can get a free month of High Dive, which I really should take advantage of, because they have the later seasons of You're Under Arrest, which I didn't even realize until like the last couple of years that they did more of that show. I have, you can, I think that's it. I think that's You're Under Arrest right there. I have the entire first series. It's like 52 episodes plus, I think there's a couple specials, shorts, and the movie. And that was only a couple of years ago. I was like, holy shit, they did seasons 2 and 3 of You're Under Arrest? Why did no one tell me this? And they're available on High Dive, but yeah, so that's definitely something I want to check out. But that's... I'm going to do it eventually. Crunchyroll monthly? I don't remember. I think they've got a few different tiers, so it's hard to say. Anyway, what was I talking about? Oh, Lost Legacy, right. So, Interesting. Shorter game than the others. It's like maybe half the length, roughly, of most of the mainline games, which is fine because the mainline games, to my taste, tend to overstay their welcome by a couple hours. $8? Yeah, okay, thank you. It seems to me there's a higher tier where you can. It's like they throw in a bunch of, like, I don't know, a bunch of other stuff, maybe manga or something. High dive is $5. Yeah. Yeah, it's really not too much. And I just got a raise. Of course, everyone got a raise because it was a company-wide salary adjustment. But I'm going to be proud of it anyway. So I could probably splurge for. What's funny? Raises are always sound great until you actually calculate what that. It's like, oh, this percentage. It's like, oh, so I'm making this much more a year. Oh, so I'm bringing this a month. Oh, well, after taxes, it's because, the way my stuff works, I bring, like, in America, I know not all of you are in America, and this isn't consistent with every single company, but a lot of Americans, and I'm included in this, it's not uncommon that the amount of money... there's the number that is your yearly salary. It's I get paid X dollars a year, right? And then there's what's actually on your paycheck, what you actually bring home after taxes and stuff, right? For a lot of Americans, it's like what's on your paycheck is really only literally 54% of your salary. It's like just over half. Particularly if you're lucky enough to have like health care and some retirement plan. Even Americans who, and I'm sure there are similar or even worse in different places in the country, but even if you have no health care and you have no retirement plan, you're probably still only getting maybe 65% of your salary in your paycheck. So, you could say, I make I make $50,000 a year. It's like, yeah, that's not the amount of money you're bringing home. You're bringing home maybe 30. So, yeah, it's a balancing act sometimes for a lot of us. So. Jared says, I would get High Dive over Crunchyroll. There's some stuff on Crunchy I want to see too, but there's definitely some stuff on High Dive that I want to see. Though I just mentioned You're Under Arrest. No one talks about You're Under Arrest. I've mentioned it before, but maybe I should talk about anime that I like that I never really hear anyone talk about. I mean, everyone knows about Ghost in the Shell. Most people have heard of Ninja Scroll, even though that's a fairly niche movie, taste-wise. Everyone's heard of Cowboy Bebop, everyone, of course, being a generalization, but most people, particularly fans of anime, they know Cowboy Bebop. They know Full Metal Alchemist, which I honestly didn't care for. They know One Piece and Neon Genesis Evangelion, which I also don't like. I don't like any popular anime. The opening theme song to Neon Genesis Evangelion is awesome, but that's like about the only thing of the show I like. Cruel Angel Thesis. That's like the only positive point of Evangelion for me. But there are, even some of the older classics like Lupin the Third. Right? I mean, that's been going on for 4 or 5 decades now. Older stuff like the Osamu Tezuka stuff, like Astro Boy, or maybe Blackjack to a lesser extent. But I never hear anyone talk about You're Under Arrest, and it's a lovely show. I like it. What about Super Gals? Why does no one talk about Super Gals? It's a great show. Um, let's see. What are we talking about in the chat here? Chaos says, I have Prime, Hulu, and Paramount. Okay. Cafe Fox, I have Sling Blue. Sling Blue. I haven't heard of that one. You know, I actually kind of want to. There's a couple. It's like, what's her name? Margaret Rutherford, I think. The one who. I happened to see one of the Miss Marple movies, Murder, She Said, a couple years back, and I absolutely loved it. It's one of the Agatha Christie characters. I loved it. And I've been trying to see if any of the others are ever available on streaming, and they're all on BritBox, which I don't have. I mean, it's a great place for it to be. I mean, it seems obvious, but I keep hoping that they'll show up on a streaming service that I have. So I may actually have to, like, bite the bullet and get a month of BritBox or something like that so I can watch the rest of the Margaret Rutherford Miss Marple movies. Let's see. Yeah, Matthew said, talking about Crunchyroll, he says, there is a higher tier, but I don't care about it. Yeah, it's... the higher tier for Crunchyroll, I forget what the details are, but it strikes me kind of like the collector's editions for a lot of video games. You know, the $200 ones that come with a statue, and it's like, I mean... It's cool, but I don't really need a statue, you know? Congrats on the... Thank you, Chicago. I mean, it wasn't a great... Although my performance review, I did get back this week, and I got solid performance on everything, so... Huzzah. But the raise was actually a company-wide, or rather department-wide salary adjustment. Everyone got a raise, which is cool. That's wonderful. I'm certainly not turning my nose up at that. That's very cool. But anyway, Jared says possible to get a raise and make less money. You'd think that it doesn't make a lot of intuitive sense, but yes, that is possible. What's actually interesting is while I am bringing in more money than I bringing home on my paycheck, getting deposited into my checking account, while I am bringing home more money every month in this job than I was in my previous job, I'm actually not bringing as higher a percentage of my salary home. Right? And that's because I have a retirement plan now. In my previous job, I did have a 401k, but now I actually have a 403b. It's the same damn thing. It's just for salary non-exempt or salary exempt or something like that. I forget what the difference is, but it's essentially the same thing. Plus, I have a percentage that's taken out of my check every month for different retirement thing, pension. So yeah, I actually only bring home 54% of my salary each month, which is kind of funny. But that sounds like, oh my god, that's horrible. No, I'm doing fine. I am actually ahead of cost of living, so I'm very happy. Anyway, let's see. The American tax system is awful. Yes. The IRS knows how much each American should be paying, but thanks to lobbying, IRS isn't allowed to bill you. I don't know the specifics of that, but there is a lot of number effery going on. That is true. Ooh, Cafe Fox's anime called Birdie. Is that the golf one? Or are we talking the new one? Like, I think it's called Birdie Wing or something like. Or are you talking about like Birdie the Mighty? Chaos says, I tried to like Neon Genesis, but I just couldn't get into it. Yeah, nor I. I mean, I respect. Oh, pardon me. I respect Neon Genesis Evangelion, but I just don't like the show. And I almost don't like anything about it other than the theme song. It's a Cruel Angel Thesis is great. Like, I don't like any of the characters. I don't even like the design of the mechas and the angels. like, I respect how unique and different they are, but I don't really like them. I respect what the show seems to be trying to do as far as themes go, but I don't think it's entirely successful at it. I just... I don't care for the show. Let's see. Also, if you're gonna do high dives as Matthew, watch The Eminence. Oh, The Eminence in Shadow, though first episode isn't very representative of the series. The Eminence in Shadow. Boop. Okay. Steel Angel Kurumi. I think I have that. Let me check. I'm sure you'd all believe me if I just told you I had that, but ow, my weight bench is in the way. In the way. Let's see. Show and tell. Molehill Mountain. It's just show all my toys. So this is Super Gals. This is the season 1 box set anyway. What is her name? Like Ron Kotobuki or something? Holy shit, I actually got that right. Ron Kotobuki. Wow, I am amazed I pulled that out of the air. I've not watched this in well over a decade. It's a comedy, it's a slice of life show, and it is really damn funny. So I like this show. I never hear anyone talk about this, though. And, Oh my. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, here's Steel Angel Kurumi. I forgot that the front of the box looks like that. And yeah, that's all of these. Yeah, there we go. Anime. Here's Encore. And they did a season 2. Yep, girls in their underwear. So Steel Angel Kurumi is another robot-made kind of harem action comedy. It's, as I recall, it's kind of funny. Let me see, does this have like a reverse side or something like that? Oh, yeah, here we go. So, this is fun. So we have the underwear peoples, but they come with these little things, so you can slip in the so you can put clothes on them. There we go. Yeah, so it comes with inserts, so you can put the costume of your choice. I forgot about that. Oh, that's funny. Anime, man, anime. These didn't do that, right? Yeah. Why is this backwards? Oh, this for some reason the insert has one of the little paper foldy up things. Weird. Anime, man. Anime. Yeah, I haven't thought about Steel Angel Kurumi in a long time. Let's see what else we got here, but Supergirl's better. Let's see. First episode also takes place in the 3C. Interesting. The extra monies for the high tier Crunchyroll is offline videos. That's right. You give us more money and you can download crap and watch it offline. It's like, nah. Let's see. Cafe Fox, you did mean Birdie the Mighty. Okay, I'm pretty sure I've seen that at some point. I don't remember. I'd have to like watch a trailer to try and remember it, but yeah. Cafe Fox really just did not like anything about Neon Genesis. Cool battles, but eh. Again, great theme song. Jared, Birdie Wing is the golf one, which I do think you would like. Yeah, it looks neat. That's one of the neat things about anime is they'll often take the sports movie or sports show or sports plot, you know, the underdog sports thing, and then they'll apply it to just weird stuff. Like, if you go a particularly American cinema, you'll see a lot of underdog sports movies. Baseball, basketball, football. A lot of baseball, actually. And you have all of that in anime, too. Hell, I've got Princess Nine sitting out back there somewhere. That's a baseball anime. But you also have boxing, like, what's the American title for it? Fighting Spirit or something. That's a great one, too. I have that one, too. It's Ippo something. I forget what the Japanese name is, but Hajime no Ippo, I think it is. But you also have weird stuff like recently, within a last couple of years, there was a rock climbing anime. There was one. There's one. Shokugeki something or other. Soma no Shokugeki. Food Wars, Food Wars, I think, which is essentially a sports anime. It's kind of like Iron Chef, only taken to the logical extreme. There was one about quiz competitions, like who can. It's something like the fastest finger first, or something like that, where they start reading trivia questions and you have to buzz in. I mean, it works because it uses the sports formula. And now, of course, we've got Birdie Wing, which is golf. So, and then there was that weird one where it seemed to be an adaptation of one of the mini games from the Extreme Beach volleyball games, where you stand on a floaty in the middle of a pool and you bump butts until someone falls into the pool. Like, that was a whole anime. I think I watched the first episode just to see what they were doing, and they're doing exactly what you think they're going to do. And it's pretty funny. Not enough to make me want to watch 12 or 26 episodes of an entire series, but the first episode was pretty funny. I forget what that's called. Matthew says, saying it's golf anime severely undersells it. I would not be surprised if that were the case, yeah. That's it for when the folks come over. Oh yeah, I've got way worse on my shelf than this. Trust me. Bikini Warriors. Is that what it was called? I don't remember, but what's particularly funny about it is if you watch the Dead or Alive Extreme Beach volleyball games, they're pretty... that game, you have two gals standing back to back on a pool floaty, just bumping butts at each other until one falls off, and it's not much more than their that's about it. But in the Bikini Warriors, or whatever the hell it's called, they go full on Dragon Ball Z with their butt attacks. It is obnoxious, it is absurd, and it's actually very funny if you come at it with the right frame of mind. But what I was really talking about was Uncharted Lost Legacy, which I quite liked. I don't think I think 4 probably has the strongest story and strongest characters, even though I had a few critiques. I felt like Nadine was underserved in the story, even though her implied backstory thematically fits what they're doing with both the Drake brothers and Raish. but they just didn't seem really that interested in her. And she actually gets a little underserved in Lost Legacy 2, which is a little weird. It's like Naughty Dog made this really cool character, but just isn't as interested in her for some reason. Don't know. She's cool. So I'm trying to think of how I would, 3 is the worst, then 1, but how would I order 2, 4, and Lost Legacy? I think 4 has the best story and characters, but its combat sucks. So I guess it's between 2 and Lost Legacy, which its story, I'd say Lost Legacy and 2, the story's fine. Just fine. So that's kind of a wash. I think 2 has the better environmental design, particularly with the clamoring around stuff. I think it edges it out there. But I found the character interactions much more interesting in Lost Legacy, so I'm really not sure which one takes the lead. So I might have to tie 2 in Lost Legacy, followed by 4, and then with 3 and 1 or 1 and then 3 way in the back of the pack. I think the reason the combat in Lost Legacy, although ostensibly it's the same combat that's in 4, but I think the reason it didn't bother me as much as it did in 4 is because in all of the combat encounters, you rarely ever are facing off more than like 8 people, which also they don't spawn new dudes in all the time. That's nice. And also the arenas are set up in much more interesting ways, in ways that are more trying to solve a puzzle rather than just run around and shoot people until they stop showing up. For example, there's a big armored car with a gun on it driving around, and what you need to do is you need to sneak through the environment and use your lockpick to open up a case to get a either C4 or a rocket launcher to take out the armored vehicle. That's interesting. That's fun. There's a lot more rope swingy places so you can move around the environment like Spider-Man. It just ends up being a lot more interesting and fun to play with, in my opinion, anyway. So they also Lost Legacy does something fairly unique. In the 4th chapter, I think it is, you get to India and you get to kind of like in Madagascar, where you get the Jeep in 4, and you just kind of drive around an open but fairly linear area. In Lost Legacy, you are just given this big open area, and you're like, alright, you have to go here, here, and here, and get the thing so that you can open the door here. And there's also just a bunch of other points of interest dotted around the map. And it's up to you to drive wherever you want, at whatever at your leisure, and there's a bunch of hidden stuff that you can do or not do. It's up to you. It's a great reward, though. If you pick up all of the little tchotchkes and then use them to unlock the thing, you get a treasure sensor, so your little wristband glows when you're near a treasure, which is that's handy. I actually, when I got there, I thought that was the game. It's like, it's an open world Uncharted. Oh, okay, that's an interesting way to do it, and it actually works rather nicely. This is going to end up being a very short game, but no, that's just Chapter 4. Once you finish that, I think there's like 10 or 12 chapters in the game. It's your typical linear Uncharted experience from there. So I thought that was just the game. It's just this open drive around thing. No, that's just one chapter. Although I liked the way they did it. because it felt like you're exploring and you're finding points of interest and going over to see what's what. And um, what's interesting is they did something similar, Naughty Dog did, in Last of Us Part 2. And that ended up being my favorite part of the game, too. You and Ellie and Dinah, what's her name? They, they're chasing Abby, but they end up in a wide open area, and they have a map, and it's up to you to explore the area and find things and mark things off the map, or maybe find something that might point to something somewhere else on the map, so you circle it, and then you go explore. You're on a horse. So it's like exactly the same thing, except Chloe and Nadine have a Jeep, and Ellie and Dana, whatever her name is, have a horse. And that was my favorite part. Probably my favorite from a game mechanics point of view, actually playing the game. That was my favorite portion of the game to play. That open bit where I could explore and do stuff. That's one of the drawbacks for Naughty Dog, I think, is that they tend to, probably because they're so laser focused on the narrative that they're trying to tell, very difficult to do if you give the player a lot of freedom. You have to make sure they hit the right beats at the right time in the right order, or that you run the risk of the narrative not working as well. So the games, your Uncharted's and your Last of Us's, tend to be fairly linear affairs. Not bad, by any stretch, but fairly linear. And I think both games, due to the nature of their game mechanics, work a lot better when you open up the world and allow the player to freely explore. It's one of the reasons why I liked some of the hub nature of the latter Tomb Raider game. Also, how come we haven't had an Uncharted or Tomb Raider in like 5 years? I mean, we had one, at least one almost every single year for like 12 years. Like from 2006 to 2018, we had a Tomb Raider or an Uncharted nearly every single year, and we haven't had one since 2018. What's up with that? Injustice! Oh well. I guess I'll have to play other games. Actually, out of curiosity, I googled, games like Tomb Raider and Uncharted, and I was not impressed with the lists. Like, I get what they were going for, but they kept naming games like Prince of Persia or the Assassin's Creed games. I'm like, no, I'm not asking about games that you climb on stuff. Like Indiana Jonesy adventure, far-off locations, ancient civilizations, temple plundering, that kind of a thing. It's, Uncharted and Tomb Raider scratch that itch. None of these other games really do. Although Horizon Zero Dawn was another frequent one. Although they do have open worlds to explore and climbing mechanics. But it's not the same. So, now that I talked about Lost Legacy and got interrupted with a bunch of anime, not a bad thing to be interrupted by. Let's talk about Secret Invasion. So if anyone wants to bow out if you haven't watched the show, I understand. I didn't think Secret Invasion was very good. I felt there was many things about it to like. A lot of really strong performers, giving some captivating performances. A lot of individual moments that worked really, really well, but as a story, falls flat. I don't think it worked. And that's a big old bummer. Saw some people talking about somewhere on the Twitters, um, saying that the finale of Secret Wars. That's not right. Secret Invasion. The finale of Secret Invasion was the viewership was really low. Marvel fatigue has set in. Someone proposes, has Marvel fatigue set in? After every single Marvel project for the last 15 years. So, look, if you individually are tired of Marvel stuff or superhero stuff, it's okay. Our tastes evolve, you know? You grow out of things occasionally. It's fine. You don't have to watch any of this stuff. But one thing is the streaming services, Disney Plus included, do not release their numbers. So we don't know what the viewership for the finale of Secret Invasion was. Now, we have companies like Nielsen and others who give their best estimates, and they're not just pulling numbers out of their butts. They've got a scientific method here. They're as accurate as they can be, but they're not the numbers. So we don't really know. We can estimate what the numbers for the finale are, but we don't really know. Because the streamers are under no obligation to actually tell us. And a lot of times, when they tell us, they could just be lying. Because they don't show us any numbers. Oh, it's the best thing ever. Oh, really? Let's see the numbers. Nah. Also, but let's say that the finale of Secret Invasion actually did have notably low viewership. Does that mean Marvel fatigue? No! Do you know what it means? Of course you do, because you're smart. So I'm going to waste your time and tell you anyway, something you already know. What it means is people weren't into the show. A significant number of people didn't tune into the finale because they didn't think the show was very good. That's what that means. It's not necessarily, I mean, there could be individual instances of it, but it's not broadly a I'm tired of Marvel. It's not Marvel fatigue. The show's not very good. A lot of people tuned in for the first episode. So, let's see where this is going. And by the third or fourth episode, they're like, this is just not very good. And they didn't tune in for the finale. That's what that means. It amazes me the number of people who just don't understand what box office is. And box office is separate from streaming numbers, of course. But a similar concept. Like, I see a lot of people still, this movie made a lot of money opening weekend. It must be good. This movie didn't make much money opening weekend. It must be bad. No, that's not what that means. Because opening weekend, no one's seen the movie yet. Talking about, general audiences. The general audience hasn't seen the movie. They're going not because it is good, or they know it's good or bad. Not many people would deliberately go see a bad movie, but they're not going because they know the movie's good. They're not going because they know the movie's bad. They're going or not going primarily based on how effective the marketing is. It's a reflection of how many people were in, well, also, how many screens was it on, its availability. But broadly, it's a reflection of how much people wanted to see the film. That's what it means. A big opening weekend box office number doesn't mean the movie's good. The movie could suck. It just means a lot of people went to see it. Or in some cases, some groups are astroturfing and just buying out theaters to make it look like a bunch of people saw it. We've seen that a couple of times, but Cafe Fox says, I filled out Nielsen questionnaire a while back about my watching habits. Pretty much said I don't watch regular TV anymore, just YouTube and Netflix. Yeah, but they give you like $3 or $5 or something like that. They'll give you a couple bucks. Nielsen, I do occasionally get the Nielsen survey too, and I don't watch TV. So they're like, how much television do you watch? It's like, almost none. I watch movies. I don't really watch TV shows much. And I certainly don't watch cable television or, I do watch some streaming stuff, but yeah, so it's like, I don't what Nielsen is looking for is not my consumer habits, but yeah. How good is a movie? If seeing if a movie has legs or not is a better reflection of how good a movie is, right? Elemental is a pretty decent example. This is a movie that didn't have the strongest opening weekend. It was fine, but it was not an overwhelming opening weekend, and that's because the marketing wasn't great. It looked like generic Pixar fare, and Pixar's generic is still usually pretty good, but a lot of people looked at the trailer and said, "Yeah, it looks cute, but it'll be on Disney Plus in 3 months, so eh." But then as a week went by, 2 weeks went by, word of mouth built, and people were like, "It's actually really good." And so people are like, "It is? Oh, well, all right, maybe I'll go see it." And people went to see it and keep going to see it, and it's had legs, and it's been doing quite well week over week. So another interesting thing to see is looking at box office takes. A big box office take doesn't mean the movie's good. It just means a lot of people went to see it. And a lot of that is reflected in the box office of its direct sequel. Because a lot of times what will happen is you'll have a movie that does great numbers, and then the next movie will do bad numbers. Or a lot less numbers. And people will be like, "Oh, I guess the sequel's bad." Not necessarily. The sequel could be great. It could be a big improvement over the first. What that means is a lot of people saw the first one and weren't interested in seeing the second after seeing the first one. A lot of people went to see the first one and then went, "Well, this is garbage," and didn't bother to see the sequel, even though the sequel was actually pretty good. So they make a third one, and by this time the sequel had, hit TV or streaming services, and people checked it out. "Oh, shit, it's really good." And then they go see the third one. Except they didn't actually release the third one in the theater. They dumped it on DVD in January. so no one gets to see it. Or some of the streaming services do this weird thing where they'll put a new show or movie on a streaming service and then delist it after a month and a half. Well, shit, that's not a lot of time to find its audience. Sometimes I see a movie go up, I'm like, "Oh, I should check that out," and I don't get around to it for a couple of years because I've got other things to do and things to watch. Like the recent example is a Crater or something like that. A bunch of kids on the moon or something going to investigate a crater. It's got kind of Goonies vibes or something like that. I'm like, "Oh, that could be cute. Maybe I'll check that out." No, it's not on Disney Plus anymore. They got rid of it. No idea if the movie's any good. Never read a review. But I can't watch it now. So, I guess there's no such thing as cult movies anymore if we're just going to release movies and then immediately delist them before they even have a chance to find their damned audience. That's a shame. It's not like I can, rent it from Redbox or anything. It doesn't have a physical release. Now no one gets to see it. That's a bummer. And I have no idea if the show's any good or if the movie's any good or not. But we've been seeing this a lot lately, where something will come out and then it's gone inside of 2 months. It's like, well, I mean, the idea was on demand. We can watch anything we want, whenever we want. Right? No. It's a bummer. Crisp $5 bill. The Nielsen thing, yeah. Jared watches sports. Yeah, what was that thing from last year that Disney lost some provider that hosted, I think, cricket. or something. I forget what channel or something that Disney did not renew the license for or something, but I think it was the channel or service that allowed them to host, like cricket matches or something. And that, not here in America, because we in America don't even know what cricket is, but especially in, across the pond, that's exceedingly popular. And Disney lost a fair amount of subscribers over that, because there were a bunch of people who were just subscribed to Disney Plus for their sports, which seems like an odd reason to subscribe to Disney Plus. But I mean, if that's where you get your cricket fix, there you go. What led me into what was I talking about? I don't even remember. I should watch the Sonic movies. I guess. I guess I should. I don't really want to. They look so bad, though. The Sonic movies are... They're like, the exact thing I would not want an adaptation of Sonic to be. And they do this all the time. Monster Hunter, another one that I should watch, but it looks so bad. I remember first hearing about Monster Hunter, and I think I said it on a podcast at some point. I'm like, okay, what they really, really, really should not do for this movie is have, like, a military group fall through a wormhole and wind up in Monster Hunter land and learn how to fight the monsters, and they go home, but uh-oh, Rathalos followed them into New York, and now we have to fight Rathalos in Times Square. And then the trailer came out, and it looks like that's exactly what they did with the movie. Again, I haven't seen it, but it's like, oh my god. And then there was the bit where Mila Jovovich, Paul Anderson's sweetie, however her name is pronounced. She and shit, what is his name? I forget the actor's name. He's he's roasting some monster meat over a spit, and he gives it to her, and she says, so delicious, or something. It's like, tasty! So tasty! Come on, man! You see, you pull shit like that, and I think you actually hate Monster Hunter. It's so tasty! Not so good or so delicious or whatever she says. It's like, how do you get that wrong? Ah! But yeah, stop. If you're adapting a cartoon or a video game, please stop doing the stupid thing where you isekai the characters into Los Angeles or New York or something. Nobody likes that. Everybody hates that every time. I know it's probably cheaper to do that, but please stop doing that, because I don't like it. And if you're going to cater to someone's whims, goddammit, cater to mine. Yeah. Hey, what should we do with Sonic? Put him in the real world and give him a human companion. Why the hell would you do that? No one wants to see that. Say what you will about the Mario movie, but at least they didn't do that. And I thought the Mario movie was cute. Detective Pikachu was pretty cool, too. The Smurfs movie. Oh no, the Smurfs and Gargamel are in the real world and in New York. Why? No. Swear to God, if they do Strawberry Shortcake or Rainbow Bright or something, just do a Strawberry Shortcake or Rainbow Bright movie. You do not need to bring them into the real world. I will complain. I actually saw the Rainbow Bright movie, the animated movie, back in, 87, 88 or something like that. Kelly wanted to see it. I don't have much memory of Rainbow Bright or Strawberry Shortcake. Like, I remember they exist, and I could recognize some of the characters, but I don't remember any of the plots. It was just something my sister watched, and I'd probably walk through the room and see it. But I did watch He-Man, and a couple of years ago I was talking about She-Ra, and I was going through my toys, and I realized, I know a lot more about She-Ra than I thought. Maybe I did see a bunch of She-Ra. Thundercats, Transformers. Never into G.I. Joe, though. I never cared about G.I. Joe. I liked the fact that the toys had more points of articulation. They bent at the elbows and the knees, whereas, He-Man and Ninja Turtles and Mask, remember Mask? They were only articulated at the the hips and the shoulders and the head swiveled. Yeah. What else did I watch? Mask. Yeah. But yeah, I'll probably try and watch the Sonic movies at some point. A lot of people really seem to dig them, so hey, maybe they're, even though Sonic gets isekai'd into the real world for some dumb reason, it doesn't mean it's a bad movie. It's just because it's not what I want to see doesn't mean it's a bad movie. Which reminds me, I should watch the Gem and the Holograms movie at some point. I've been meaning to do that for years. Back in 2015, I think, I was doing the 30 Days of Netflix series of YouTube videos. And one of the things I did was I watched the first 5 episodes of Gem and the Holograms. And that was the first time I'd seen the show. I'd been aware of its existence, never happened to see it when I was a kid. So this is the first time watching it. I loved it. I was hooked. I'm like, oh my god, this is great. This is hilarious. Wonderful show. It wasn't until 2020, until the pandemic hit, where I finally watched the show. And I had bought it on DVD a couple of years before. I probably bought it in like 2017, 2018. It sat on my shelf because I knew I wanted to do a series about it. And when the pandemic hit and I went home and my hours were luckily I didn't lose my job, but I did get my hours reduced to 10 a week for a while there. I'm like, well, here's a good opportunity to do Gem and the Holograms. And anyway, but back in 2015, when I watched the first 5 episodes, the trailer for the film came out. I went, oh, hey, they're making a Gem movie? Sweet. And I watched the trailer and went, oh, no. That looks awful. Fast forward 5 years, I do the Gem and the Hologram show. I get introduced to the wider Gem fan community, and I find out that no one really likes the movie. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, it does. I should see it for myself. In fact, last year I did a video about, the top 5, what makes Gem, right? I did a video talking about the elements of Gem and the Holograms that I think are necessary to include in a filmic adaptation. And then I never got around to watching the movie, because I just don't want to dislike it. I'm so afraid I'm going to not like the movie. I mean, I look at it, I'm thinking, best case scenario, I walk out of the movie going, okay, it's not really a Gem film, but it's okay for what it is. So, but yeah, so Sonic movies and Gem and the Holograms. Need to watch those. Jared says, yes, Andrew, we know you like kids' shows. Lindy says, don't waste your time on that, Andrew. You'll throw a fit. I should play the Ratchet and Clank games. I've played... Pretty sure I played one of them. Yeah. Which one do I have? Pretty sure I have one. I might have actually played it on stream. Did I? Ratchet? Yeah, I played the PS4 remake of the first one on June 13th, 2021. So yeah, so I played that one. So I have played one of the Ratchet. It's solid. I wasn't like, oh my god, I need to play more of this series, but it's fun. Cafe Fox says, that's why you want to see them. Yeah, maybe. What else do I need to watch? I'm trying to think, are there any other movies that I should see, but I just keep putting off because I just kind of don't want to watch them? I'm sure there are some. But yes, I do like kids shows. I've been hearing things about Bluey, which is apparently a cartoon dog. Not Blue's Clues, but Bluey. I don't know, but apparently it's a kids show that a lot of adults are enjoying. I liked My Little Pony, the newer one, not the newest one that's on now. I don't think it's very good, but the I have no idea what generation that is, 5 or 6 or something like that. You know, the Twilight Sparkle and Rarity and Pinkie Pie, that cast. Although I think some of them are the same from some of the earlier generations, but I mean, that sucker went on for like 9 seasons or something. They had a theatrical film in like 2017, 18, 19, somewhere in there, which I thought was a lot of fun. What other kids' things do I enjoy right now? There's the Harley Quinn show's back. It's not really a kids show. It's just a cartoon, but it's really good. I really like the Harley Quinn show. My Adventures with Superman. Definitely a younger skewing show, but overall, I'm rather enjoying it so far. I got my nitpicks here and there, but overall, I'm finding it pretty gosh darn charming. Let's see. Future and Crack and Time are great, says Cafe Fox. Okay. Should play the PS3 Ratchet and Clank games. For some reason, says Jared, they put 2 of the Ratchet games on PC, but not the first or second. Interesting. Alright. Okay, I think that's it for tonight. Thank you all for listening to me blather on and on about anime and video games and TV and anime and more anime. Tomorrow we are... still July, right? Yeah, so tomorrow we are playing more Trails from Zero. And what are we doing? Oh, we're going back in time to talk with Lecter because we left him hanging at the theater, and we can't do that. We gotta do the localization team proud and the writers proud and uncover every single individual line of dialogue in the entire RPG. So we'll take a look at the conversation that we missed, and then fast forward in time and pick up where we left off. And then next Sunday is the first Sunday of August, so we will be playing a new game that day, and it's a Patreon reward video, so it's Brian's. So Brian picked a game for me to play that day, so we'll that's August something if I don't know how many days are in July. 31, yeah. So 6? 6, yeah. So Sunday the 6th, we'll play Brian's Patreon reward video game, and then get back to Trails in subsequent weeks. And so, yeah, definitely looking forward to checking out the Cold Steel series of games in 2026. So, 2025. Because we'll probably... What's the next crossbow? Azure? So we'll probably finish Zero this year, and then I doubt it'll take me more than a year to get through Azure. So yeah, we'll probably be starting Cold Steel in fall of 2024, maybe. See, this is why Amazing Games Done Quick does not invite me to their programs. Like, no, too slow, sir. Too slow. Although I did see the other this week they had a marathon of Yakuza or Like a Dragon games, That's I didn't get a chance to watch any of it, but that's a favorite series of mine, and that's probably not the easiest one to speedrun, particularly the newest entry, Like a Dragon. Well, not Ishin, the one before that, Like a Dragon, the RPG one. I have no idea how the hell you speedrun that, but I should probably watch some of the turn-based RPGs and see how they go about doing it, like some of the Final Fantasies and stuff like that, because although some of them do take 6 hours, but still, it'd be interesting to see how the hell they get through some of these RPGs so damn quick. But alright, that's it for me. Thank you much for watching the podcast. Hope to see you all tomorrow for the Sunday stream. And until then, eat your veggies and wash behind your ears, because apparently that's a very dirty, dirty place. And I'll see you tomorrow. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.